Ha!
Aha! It works. So it is Watch Along Wednesday.
Indeedy.
Tell you what a lovely day it's been today. Sunny and bright. Oh, yeah, it's been sunny and bright here.
Oh, that's right. You live in the north, don't you?
I do. There has not been snow and rain and ice. It's been a lovely day.
Yeah. Pretty soggy down here too.
Evening, Megan.
Megan.
Linda's on board. Hello, Linda. If you are on board tonight, giving us a watch, say hello in your comments. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to watch along on it's a DS9 two-parter. Two things. Two, not three. Two. It is in Purgatory's shadow, and by Inferno's light. Now, Carl is unfortunately had to work, and James has got some personal stuff on that he's had to deal with. So
I'm here.
It's me. Oh no, James is here. Richard's got some personal stuff. Oh, it's been a long day. Yes. So we will be starting momentarily. We have arranged from the next time we do a watch along, there will be a little box that says where we are in the episode that appears, so people know where we are. Oh, it's all clever stuff. Yeah, so we're looking forward to that one. So whenever you're ready, James, and we got some viewers on.
I'm ready.
You're ready. Now, am I right in thinking you haven't seen the end of Deep Space Nine yet?
I've still got 4 episodes left. I'm hoping to find a couple of hours at some point this century to watch them.
Oh, I envy you. The end of DS9.
I don't want it to end.
Is it one of these, if you never watch the ending, then it never really ended?
That's true, I suppose. Well, that's one of the reasons I didn't go and see What You Leave Behind, because I hadn't actually seen the end.
Okay, yeah, that would explain it. Yeah, so what will you need for tonight? You're going to need a copy of the 2 episodes, which is season 5, episodes 14 and 15. You're going to need us on your screens. You're going to need a way to listen to us and to listen to Netflix, which is why we have headphones. And you're going to need to be able to type in the box as we prattle on and give essentially what is non-directors direct commentary.
Had we been the directors, this is what we would have done differently.
I would have done this. James would have had a microphone on a stick.
Just in case we have the urge for a maverick round of blankety blank.
Everybody I know would have been eating cherry yogurt. Yeah, it's all good.
More product placement then.
Yes. If you are watching us from anywhere that can give us free products.
Tonight's episode of Deep Space Nine is sponsored by Sluggo Cola.
Oh, bless. Right, shall we press play?
Oh, I've got to say this, actually. I had to speak to a barrister today on a case I'd sent him off to do up at the High Court. And I'm afraid to say I gave him the following instruction. Full ahead and damn the torpedoes.
Did you win?
Yes, we did.
Excellent. Or bad if you're the opposition.
Yes, he's not going to have a happy day.
Was it one of those Worf things? Death to the opposition.
We'll settle just for his house.
Awkward. Well, while people are still tuning in, and I meant to ask this the other day, do you prefer Worf in Deep Space Nine or do you prefer Worf in TNG? Because it is very 2 different types of Worf.
He's more rounded in DS9, but then he's had 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, he's had 12 seasons to develop his character compared to everyone else.
He wasn't denied as much in Deep Space Nine either.
No, he was largely allowed to get on with things, wasn't he?
I recommend this. Crack on, man. Opposed to Picard's just like, no, idiot.
I think we should kill them. No, Mr. Worf.
There are children in distress on the planet.
No, drop shields, Mr. Worf.
Essentially, TNG is very much whatever Worf suggests, Picard does the exact opposite.
But Picard's not wrong, though, is he?
No, very rarely. Oh, here he is. The Welsh one is aboard.
Good evening, Paul.
Hello, Paulo. The question is, has Paul got us on his big screen and his episode of Netflix on his screen or his tablet? Or is he watching the episode on a big screen and us on his tablet or a screen?
Or both on the big screen.
Oh, I wonder how big we are on a big screen. Is it like we're really there? Right, so you will need Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 5, Episode 14. James, if you would like to do the honour of counting us in. As it's Deep Space Nine, let's do it from...
Headphones
Deep Space
on.
9, let's do it from 9.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1, go. I need to know who Derek Garth is now.
Dang, I knew we should have done some research on this episode.
Nice vase.
Yes.
Oh, Odo has been a solid up to this point, hasn't he?
Yes, now he's become a shapeshift. Shapeshift, yeah. And Nana Visitor is pregnant at this point.
By Alexander Siddig, I believe.
Yes, or Chief O'Brien, if you're watching the episodes.
Well, if we're in the in real life or Deep Space Nine.
Yes. Yes. So where do you stand on is Odo's comm badge real, or does he shapeshift into it?
I think it has to be real. And the reason is because when he reverts to a liquid, when he reverts to a liquid, we never see it, do we? But can he actually create functional machines? I mean, could he convert himself into, say, a runabout? We've never seen him do that, have we? We've seen him as a spinning top, a ball.
It's a good point. Cisco doing that classic middle management thing of just standing behind somebody while they do the actual work. Qualified for local council work at this point.
Recursive encryption algorithm.
Those grey DS9 uniforms are nice.
Yes. They're meant to reflect the period where it's all very much dominated by war. And we've moved away from the fluffy primary colours of TNG to a more sort of militaristic look.
Yes. See, Paul asks, does Odo shapeshift into the electronics of the communicator? Which is what you were asking, more or less.
Yes.
This is Zial version 2 or version 3?
Was there more than one version?
Yeah, Zial was played by 3 separate actresses.
Oh, dear. That's like in Neighbours, where characters disappear and come back played by different actors, or EastEnders.
Yeah. Yes. Oh.
No one notices, even though they've got photos of the previous actors still up.
Andy Robinson, lovely man.
He's a very modest man when you meet him. You would think that he was quite a high-profile actor.
And there are points when you look at his makeup, like if you watch there how his neck ridges move, and think, it must be quite a. I imagine it's a pullover prosthesis because obviously there's no tear in the makeup or anything. So
Must be warm.
Yeah.
I wonder if there was any difference in the pay that people on DS9 and TNG got based on whether they had to wear prosthetics the entire time. You know, if you're Worf and you've got to spend 4 hours a day being made up to be Worf or Quark, do you get danger money?
Well, it probably explains how Michael Dorn can afford to have a fighter jet license.
Yes.
You know, Patrick Stewart just about affords a dog, and Michael Dorn can afford an F-22 Raptor. So,
yeah, Patrick Stewart, all he had for makeup was a quick polish on his head, didn't he?
And occasionally, like a new jacket or something. Oh, it's time to give Patrick some. Let's give him a bomber jacket. That'll do.
I always rather like that bomber jacket. My favourite bomber jacket is the one Kirk wears in Final Frontier.
Nice.
That's really nice. The suede one.
Yes, yes.
Picard's wears one as well.
Picard's is in the episode Shaka when the walls fell.
Darmok,
yeah.
There are two versions. One has a sort of PVC leatherette style shoulder, and the second version I think is more like suede. I think the suede is probably nicer.
Paul says that Patrick Stewart is struggling now. Did you see he's having to have beans on toast now for meals?
I think you'll find, Paul, that I posted the clip myself about an hour ago. Nothing wrong with beans on toast.
I can assure you, Paul, even if Patrick Stewart is struggling, he's not going to Aldi for his beans on toast. He probably goes to Waitrose or Boobs or something like that, you know.
Fortnum and Mason.
Finest hand-picked beans.
Every time you go into Fortnum and Mason, there's always Stephen Fry. He's there every time.
Is he like one of those old people at the beginning of Asda? You know, meet a greeter type people.
Stephen Fry greets you as you go into Fortnum's. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I think that's more a Michael Gambon role.
Paul says Patrick probably goes to Harrods for his beans.
Or Selfridges. Marco Lamo. He's been in a lot of stuff prior to DS9. I saw an episode of Knight Rider the other day he turned up in. He's always a baddie. He's obviously got that sort of face.
Yeah. I always wondered if the blast shutters you see on the roundabout, the ones that are down now on the windows, if that's because it was very easy to do self-contained filming without any outside light or, you know.
Well, you don't have to worry about projecting a star field, do you?
No, exactly. Because at the moment, they're in a space dock, so there's...
Yeah, so you wouldn't have to project the inside of the dock. But if it's flying around, you don't have to muck around with matting on a star field and warp field effects and so on. And there's an in-universe explanation, because we're now in a time of war, and therefore unnecessary windows are vulnerable. Sounds like fun.
So all of the seats that the actors are sitting on have obviously come out of free seat to cars. Because if you look halfway up them, they've got the little lever for putting the seat forward if you're in a free seater car.
Yeah. Well, most chair props you see and stuff have repurposed things. So the ones on Kirk's Enterprise, for example, are in Eames 115 or 116, I think it is. And frankly, every one of those in existence has been bought up by Star Trek fans to convert into a TOS-style chair.
This sounds like a man who's been scouring eBay for one.
I have looked. They should send Agent Bashir with him.
It's season 5 when you actually see, if you watch it through, how much Alexander Siddig seems to age between seasons 1 and 5. Facially, he gets quite a bit older. And obviously, war was very stressful for him in the universes.
Well, of course, at this point, this isn't Bashir, is it? Or are we talking spoilers?
Oh, spoilers. Oh, you just ruined the entire episode. Paul, I'm sorry.
And that is the galaxy's foremost Dax impersonator. Is that a sonic screwdriver Wolf's got there?
I don't know, but it's nice to know that even in the 24th century, your wife will still make a scene when you try to make plans. Some things remain constant.
Treading a dangerous line there, Mason.
You didn't disagree, though, Dylan.
She's not in earshot.
Crash.
That cabinet on the wall there that they keep the phasers in, that's just basically a plastic storage box they've got from somewhere like Target. Again, I see people scouring the internet trying to find the exact model.
It's sad to think, isn't it? So many of these sets were just, destined for the scrap and broken down and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen pictures, of none of the other ones, but the Enterprise, the bridge, taken out onto the back lot at Paramount and just bulldozed. Literally, someone drove over them in a JCB. What? Surely you could have sold it or donated it to someone. What a shameless waste. Paul could have had it for his TV.
And the DS9 set was humongous. I mean, everywhere you look, it is obviously in these TV shows in this age. It's not like it would be today, where it would all be green screen and projects and stuff. A lot of this is physical sets, especially this generation of TV. The DS9 set, I've heard stories about how big the DS9 Promenade set was.
Yeah, and it's 2 full stories. I think the only one doing sort of something similar now is probably, funny enough, the Orville. So I've seen the set of the Orville, and they've built sort of a two-deck set because there's a grand staircase in it. And there's a lot of ex-Star Trek people who work on Orville, like friend of the show, Doug Drexler.
Yes.
And I think the Acudas have turned up at some point, if not working on it, at least having a tour around it. And it's like home away from home for them.
Yeah, so Tortial was played by 3 separate actresses. Now, the one that we're seeing is Ciara Batten.
Is she the last one?
No, she's the middle one.
Oh, yeah, we're actually, it's only season 5, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
There was so much rich tapestry with the likes of the Obsidian Order and the Cardassian military. They were really fun to watch. Proper scenery-chewing villains.
Very much so. Now, I'm just wondering if it will let me do this. Yes, it will. If I screen share this very quickly. Can you see that, James? So These are your 3 actresses who played Zial. So first, second, and third. I think this might be the third one, actually. Judging by the facial ridges.
The one on the left there, gosh, looks very different.
Yeah. Yeah. Paul says it probably cost a fortune to build a lot of these sets, etc., and props. They could have recouped some costs by keeping them and selling them off.
Indeed, who wouldn't have paid top dollar to own a bit of Deep Space Nine or the Enterprise or the Defiant or Voyager?
At this point, and this is, I want to say, is it 96 or 98, somewhere around there?
Season 4, when Worf joins, is directly after TNG finishes. TNG finishes in 94, so this is either 95. Yeah, so that would have been 95. So this is 96.
Yeah. At this point, the Star Trek exhibition or Star Trek the experience rather was in Vegas.
I'm not sure it was. I think it was 98. The experience, because I know it closed in 2008, and I think it was there for 10 years. I'm sure you can Google and tell me if I'm wrong.
I can indeed. Opened in January 98, yes.
However, the Science Museum in London did have the Star Trek exhibition in or around 95, 96.
And you have to wonder why some of these sets didn't make their way to some of those events,
Yeah. Well, certainly over here, I mean, we didn't have any big conventions for a very long time, specific Star Trek ones. I went to one called Generations in the Albert Hall in 1994. I think they did 2 of those. I only went to one. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't a convention in the sense that we sort of have them now. It was more of everyone was seated the entire time and people came on stage. There wasn't like a dealer hall or a costume parade or anything like that. Or quizzes, of course. So basically every member of the cast came on at some point and did a presentation. And it was over 2 days. But yeah, until Destination, there wasn't a huge dedicated Star Trek convention for a long time after that. I mean, you obviously have SF Ball and so forth, but that's not exclusively Trek.
Yeah.
So,
have you done a Vegas or a US convention, James?
No, I went to the experience. I did go to Vegas in 2007. And so I did get to go to the experience, spend a whole day there. It's great fun. 2 years from now, Dan, let's go.
It sounds like yes. Well, as we got some viewers on, we'll tell the viewers that are there. So in 2 years' time, it's my 40th, and I've said that one of the things I want to accomplish in my 40th is I want to go and do a US convention. So that's on the list. So who knows? By then, we may even be invited over.
What, Britain's top-rated Star Trek webcast
on a Sunday?
Except on a Wednesday.
No, obviously, we're not as good as the Trekkie Girls because they are Britain's top-rated. We are Britain's top-rated Sunday webcast.
We're Britain's most frequent. Oh no, that's Trek Yards. All right, we're Britain's most regular because we turn up every Sunday.
Awkward. Paul says he'd like to go to San Diego.
That one strikes me as insanely busy. It just, I've read that like the main hall, the demand for it is so high, people queue for the entire weekend for particular things. I think that's probably just too busy.
Now, Paul, there is a Facebook page that is called An Englishman in San Diego. It's a friend of mine called Leonard. He goes to San Diego quite frequently, and he does a weekly blog on things to expect there and his experiences and what it's like. And he also does a show like this and has guests on. An Englishman in San Diego. It's well worth watching that one. So if you go on it, go and watch Lenny, see his thing. So.
What do we think the function is of the spoon head that the Cardassians have?
I think it's
For an
probably.
episode, they said it did something, like it was a primordial ear or something.
Oh right,
A
okay.
final frontier.
Oh God. I think Paul's implying it's like a personalised version of Jodrell Bank.
Tachyon detector.
It's for a very, very small Tom Baker to fall off. Why is it any time in Star Trek, it's always, hey, look, a nebula we can take a shortcut through? Now, I'm going to go through times this has gone wrong. Voyager, they found the Borg in a nebula. Voyager, the nebula that turned people, was radioactive and made people get radioactive and they had to go into the comas for. TNG, there's bound to be a stuck in a nebula episode. Kirk and Khan in a nebula.
Well, Kirk cleverly uses the nebula to level the odds because the Enterprise is largely trashed, whereas Reliant is only heavily damaged. So to sort of even the score where they can't use sensors, he goes into the nebula. In fact, this nebula looks very familiar, doesn't it?
Doesn't it just?
Yeah.
I'm also expecting the word Chakari.
They have the scene where the Enterprise and Reliant, despite all the odds against this happening, are on a direct collision course face to face, and their sensors only sort of clear as they're within stabbing range. Oh dear.
Paul asks, in TNG, Nagilum was a nebula.
He was a bit of a pest, wasn't he?
Andorians have an antenna. Why not Cardassians have a radar dish?
So Andorians could pick up FM transmissions, whereas Cardassians could pick up Sky. What can the Ferengi get then?
DAB?
5G.
It's probably pay-per-view, knowing a Ferengi. Donk.
Are we glad to see you?
Andy Robinson does have some great lines.
Well, she's right. I mean, babies are rubbish.
Says you with two of them.
Well, one's not a baby anymore.
How long till school?
Isabel should start September next year.
Oh. Do you not have to put an application in for going and all the rest of it? We're speaking to a customer today whose child has made their second choice for high school and she was devastated.
Well, you have to put in preferences. I mean, we're hoping to move house before we have to do that. Not to get into a particular catchment area, but to have enough room for all the kids' toys. And then also my toys.
Yes, Major. Take my only ship when I think an incoming invasion is coming and go and look for one man.
Could I speak to your manager, please?
Hello,
Yes,
are you
Karen.
Hello, are you the receptionist?
Sounds a bit like Hotel California.
Welcome to internment camp 3471. What a lovely place.
I love the wormhole. It's one of the best effects ever. I need a better definition than that, Major.
It's a good effect, the wormhole. It's better than an orb, which is essentially just a sand timer that glows.
I've seen people who've made some really cool props of those that are really good.
Can I get a room upgrade, please? I'm not happy with the lack of view.
He didn't have you working on doing the bookings, Paul.
So you'd think something that was genetically bred to be a soldier, like a Jem'Hadar, wouldn't really have much need for a POW camp. You would just, you wouldn't really take many prisoners, if that makes sense.
Yes, prisoners slow you down. You have to commit lots of resources to looking after them.
Yeah, so they built a whole POW camp. It's like, well, it always struck me as a bit strange, this. Oh, here we go. Worf getting ready to see... who's this? A
Old
Klingon.
One Eye himself. Is that a carpet?
It does look like it, yes. Now, interestingly, how is this Martok when we've already seen him in a couple of episodes ago?
Have we? Gosh, it's a long time since I saw these episodes. Ooh.
Now, with all the prosthesis on your face doing this, you must have to very heavily overact expressions for it to show properly.
And Michael Westmore is the chap responsible for most of this makeup, isn't he? And he is considered an absolute master.
That's the colour of my carpet in the cinema room.
Paul, did you buy it from the producers of DS9 when they struck the set? If not, why not? Now, Enebrin Tain, we last saw him in that fleet, didn't we, that went off to destroy the shipyards, and it was a trap.
Yes, because there was a shapeshifter on board. Commander Kovac?
Was it the Romulan?
When Odo punches Garrick to stop Garrick from going back to go and get Tain because the ship is exploding around him.
Yes. That's when someone has devised a device to stop Odo from reverting into his gelatinous state as a way of torturing him.
Yes, it was like a thermos flask with two flashing lights.
Well, that was how they contained him, wasn't it? Or did they have one thing they could contain him in and one thing that stopped him shape-shifting?
Wasn't the one thing they could contain him in was the episode with when someone tries to steal a Dax symbiote? Because they get
right. That's what I'm thinking.
Put him inside the box, don't they?
Yeah, everyone's off the station because there's some sort of solar storm coming past.
Well, it's not O'Brien, is it? It's Bashir.
Why don't you just nip in, speak to your mates, the Prophets, and ask them to divert the end of the wormhole to somewhere that the Dominion would encounter the Borg?
Or maybe a black hole. Or a sun.
Yeah. Ooh, phase conjugate graviton beam. Would you get that from Halfords, Chief?
Was you in the group chat? Are you in that group chat where I asked the other day what Steven Seagal film to watch? Which Tommy Lee Jones film to watch? I ended up watching Under Siege, which with Seagal, which is a great film. But Colm Meaney's in that.
Is he?
Yes.
Is he one of the baddies?
He is one of the baddies, yes. And I was like, where did you find time to film this?
Under Siege was about 94, 93? Possibly even 92. It has one scene in it worth watching, doesn't it? And of course, we all know which one it is. And it involves a cake.
It does involve a cake. It is 92, correct.
So that's it. Well, he's still in TNG, but only as a recurring character.
Yes. The budget for making that film was $35 million.
Wow. Well, they do have the run of the USS, was it the Indianapolis,
Yes.
for most of it.
And they blow up a submarine. Oh.
Now, of course, Bashir is still wearing the old style uniform there that tells us that he's been there a while.
Yes. Not to mention, Worf knows that he's on the station. So,
Where did they get the medical kit from?
Well, I assume that, in the POW camp and him being a doctor, he was given basic medical things to look after other injured people.
Yeah.
Jem'Hadar not really having much use for doctors, as we find out from that episode where the Vorta sends the Jem'Hadar into the ambush. He's like, "Do you have one of those famed Starfleet doctors?"
I know it's a dramatic device, but the fact that Odo can't do faces has always amused me, because he can replicate his clothes in perfect detail. He can become a spinning top or whatever, but he can't get the face right. Really?
Well, he can become a bird as well, and other such things. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Alan Window says that Under Siege was filmed on the USS Alabama.
Alabama. Was it called the Indianapolis in the?
It was. Actually,
no, Indiana. Was it?
I think so. Yeah.
Indianapolis was the one in World War II that was sunk, and all the sailors were unfortunately cast into shark-infested waters, weren't they?
Oh God! Now you got me having a look. Let's have a look. Missouri is the ship. The Missouri.
So was it called Missouri in the film, but it was actually filmed on the Alabama, or what?
That's correct. Yes. Which Alan goes, it's the USS Missouri. Still a good film.
Good popcorn film.
Do you know that Mrs. Mason has never seen Speed?
I've never seen Feed.
You've never seen Speed?
Oh, Speed? Speed, yes, I've seen that. And the sequel. The President and Mrs. Dillon had never seen Star Wars until about 6 years ago.
Oh, golly.
And she was resistant to watching it, and that's fine, I don't care. And then one day I came home and found that she'd watched it, and then she'd enjoyed it so much she'd gone straight onto Empire Strikes Back. Fair
enough. Paul says, let's have a look. I think it would have been interesting to see what other damage or bugs, etc., that the shapeshifter Bashir had done in his time on the station. I mean, we know of that Commander Eddington had enough time in his year on Deep Space Nine to completely rewrite the code on the Defiant. He'd left a couple of other viruses in DS9 that they found before they had a chance to go off. So, yeah, I mean, a determined shapeshifter should have been able to do some quite significant damage, is what my understanding of it is.
He could have gone round everybody's quarters, snuck under the door, drunk all the fizzy pop, and then put the empty bottles back in the fridges. That would be really irritating.
Ooh.
Tried on all their clothes, made some long-distance phone calls.
He could have replicated a load of suntan bed tubes and replaced every 4-foot tube in the place with sunbed lamps, so everyone got more and more tanned without realising it. And no one could figure out why everyone was getting browner and browner. Changeling kills entire crew with melanoma slowly over 20 years.
He could have jammed all the monitors so they were playing an endless loop of something like, I don't know, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which would be entertaining the first couple of times, but would begin to grate after the 100th run round.
He could have, as he was a doctor, he could have just made everybody have unnecessary doctor's appointments. I order you for your doctor's appointment.
Now, is there a reveal, Dan, about the relationship between these two at the end of DS9?
Yes.
Okay, so I haven't yet got to that, but I think I know what it is.
Whatever you think it is, you're right.
Tane was Garak's barber.
Ah, well, this is awkward then. No, you're wrong. Damn it.
Along with his Ferrero Rocher.
I mean, the character of Garak is so well done and gets better and better. Not only just better and better as DS9 goes on, it gets better every time you rewatch DS9 as well.
When I interviewed Andy Robinson, I asked him, would you consider Garak to be like an onion? You peel away layer after layer after layer, and each one makes you cry.
To which he replied,
He thought that was quite good. I had to work hard to come up with that question.
there you go. It was mentioned then.
Oh, well, there you go. So it's a radical form of contraception there. Oh, those nice final words.
Yes.
Right, we'll dig 3 tunnels. We shall call them Tom, Dick, and Harry. One will be under the vaulting horse in the gymnasium.
I don't think it's quite that simple when there's no atmosphere outside, James. The last place I went with no atmosphere was my informal review.
Been to some parties like that. Oh. Oh, shoddy circuit breaker.
God, Miles O'Brien, you're not very good at this job, are you?
Oh, no. Of course, in SG1, they have the... Is that a series of books?
I don't know. Lily, tell us more. In SG1, yes?
Yeah, in SG1, where they have the Stargate, which one would argue is comparable, it's a wormhole between planets. They install an iris, don't they, into the Stargate that closes, and anything that comes through, as it sort of rematerializes at the other end of the wormhole, smacks into this iris and gets disassociated into its constituent particles before it can properly recoalesce. I don't know if the DS9 wormhole's meant to work the same way. Is it more like a sort of tube where you go in one end and you fly through and come out the other, or do you sort of dematerialize?
I believe it's
they could have done an iris.
I believe it's like a water slide. It's sort of enter here, slide out there.
It's like a disco on the inside, isn't it?
Yes. So I assume yours has also gone into the next episode.
I'm still in the credits, but it's about to go to the next episode.
Oh, right. I should press pause then, because mine has just jumped straight into it.
Right. I'm at the beginning of the next episode, and we've just cut to the Bridge of the Defiant. Is that where you are?
I'm a couple of seconds ahead of that.
Hang on. Let's get to a convenient point. Dax has just walked through the door. How about that?
Let's have a look. Dax has just walked through a door.
Oh, actually, that's... Where am I?
I am at 2 minutes and 15. Golly, we seem to have...
How's that happened?
I think it skips the recap because it knows you've just watched from one to another.
Okay, hang on. 2 minutes 15. Right, I'm there. So we're looking at Dax's face.
Yes, Dax is pulling a bit of a weird face. Right, let's go for it. 3, 2, 1, go.
Energize.
So let's have a look. Lily says, Mirror Wars. Illustrator J.K. Woodward will be in New Jersey next week.
Friend of the show, J.K. Woodward.
We, of course, know J.K. Woodward.
We've had drunk with him a lot, yeah.
Tipton Comic Series Mirror Universe New Year Ling series continues in Mirror Wars. You can check out more information on Twitter, J.K. Woodward, and Facebook, James Kenneth Woodward. I assume Let's
get J.K. to come on one day and talk to us about it.
I assume Lily is J.K.'s publicist. J.K. Woodward, not to be confused with J.K. from Jamiroquai, who are
or J.K. Rowling.
Or J.K. Rowling. They are all completely separate people.
Or Jerome K. Jerome.
I wonder if J.K. Woodward has a big collection of hats.
Well, I know he's got a cravat because I gave him one. Yes, he gave Richard and I a very nice piece of artwork that was a sort of approval piece that he'd done for his Mirror Universe Voyager comic. And yes, Richard has that. He's very pleased with it. It's a unique piece.
Lily is JK's girlfriend. That would.
Go on, Lily. Ask JK. Get him to send us a message, and we'll have him on and we'll chat about it.
No, lol, and yes. So I think we can use these as answers to anything. For instance, James. Let's have a look.
Marry, avoid.
He would love to come on. Give him a call. We'll organise that. That's fine. We'll have him as a guest on a Sunday.
Well, if he's listening, JK, I hope you're all right.
Maybe he'll be at the next Destination Star Trek event.
Yeah, tell us if you're coming over in November.
November.
Yeah.
For London.
We'll get the hangover recovery remedies ready.
My liver is already crying and we're not even there yet. I do like that Nebula class that they have docked at DS9 in the opening credits. Is it a Nebula class? Looks like a Nebula. Come on, James. You're like the human version of the Star Trek Encyclopedia. You should know
I could tell you if I was looking at it. Hang on, I'll spool back and find it.
Oh, well, no, because then I'll have to pause and come. And other people are watching along.
I'll catch back up to you, don't worry.
Oh, golly.
Yes, that's Nebula class.
Excellent. All right, Lily says she will convey he's working on the new covers for the Mirror Universe, and yes, have the hangover cures ready. So that sounds like yes, he's coming. Have we just announced something exclusive that we weren't meant to?
A friend of ours has told us that he's going to be in London in November. That's what we've disclosed.
Yes, exactly that. Linda says, now Melody Smith is Zayal. Magic Zayal change.
What, between two parts of the same episode? Blimey, what happened there?
Someone's agent was better than somebody else's, obviously.
I mean, last night I noticed that Sarah Cox was presenting Eurovision in place of that chap Rylan.
Right. Okay. So I saw Eurovision yesterday.
I love Eurovision. I love it.
My favourite of yesterday's was Azerbaijan because it was a talented singer.
No, Cyprus was best for that.
Oh, Cyprus wasn't bad. Was that Cyprus Il Diablo?
Yes.
Yes.
Scott Mills decided it meant church when it means devil.
I liked that act. I also liked Azerbaijan because yes. Very pretty. Anyway, moving on. Azerbaijan. Anyway, Coxie obviously couldn't be bothered. She knew she was on BBC4 because she's wearing a dress and trainers. So she's like, I know this isn't serious. I'm going to just wear comfy footwear.
Well, I think she was subbed in very much at the last minute. It's Eurovision, isn't it? Anything goes.
Paul says, oh, fab, looking forward to catching him again. He has some stunning artwork from the Mirror Universe. He does. I really want to buy some of JK's artwork and have it on the wall of shame above me because obviously we do a lot of international talking and getting invited onto things as guests and stuff. And it'd be nice to have a piece of his artwork in my art gallery, which is over that way. So yes, I shall purchase something from JK and get it framed up.
Oh.
Unfortunately, this water is not Iggy Pop.
Gary Seven, that's the character from the original series, isn't it? There was a plan for him to have his own spin-off series that never happened. Oh. Gull is equivalent to Federation captain, isn't it?
Yes.
So you'd think someone slightly higher up in the military might become the military dictator.
You would. Every time that the Prime Minister gives a press briefing, by the way, I keep expecting him to come onto the screen with attention Bajoran workers, and he never does. And I'm really disappointed when it doesn't happen.
Well, that was the role our friend Dominic Cummings would have had, isn't it? His spitting image puppet was the best. Yes, Prime Minister, return to the hive.
Oh, dear. Right, let's have a look. Lily says there was a series in comics. Tell you what, I wish I had a publicist like Lily. Wow, just forget the things we get invited to.
Yeah.
Did you see, while we're watching, obviously we're doing a lot of watching along and people are watching with us, and if you are, fantastic. We do natter a lot of rubbish in the meantime. Did you see that online on Facebook today that Talking Trek, you know, the podcast Talking Trek, have been invited to the 50th of Vegas, or 55th Vegas, whatever it is.
Or Mission 55, whatever it is.
Yeah, let's see if I can find it. Trek Talking, that's it.
They have a name very similar to ours, don't they?
They do. Here we go. They've been invited to Star Trek 55-year mission, and they've decided to do some fundraising so that you can pay for them to go, which, you know...
I think I'd rather fund myself to go.
Well, I looked earlier. They'd actually made some really good money.
Hmm.
They just put out to their fans, like, we'd love to come. If you can all donate like a £5, we'll be able to get there. Which, fair dues, if you can get people to donate. And I'm not saying it in a negative way, because it would be nice to go, and I appreciate some people can't afford to foot the bill themselves. And some people, not everyone in the world, I know some people are not as lucky as others. To some people, a couple of dollars is not a big amount of money, and to some people, a couple of dollars is a humongous amount of money, and we appreciate that. Does that make sense? I'm not making little of people's struggles in life, if that makes sense. And they said, look, we'd love to go, and if anyone wants to donate. And when I looked, there was some really good amounts of money that had been donated. And you know what? I thought, that's like really nice. Well, my point is, it actually made me think how nice Trek people actually are. Does that make sense? Because it's like, you wouldn't get that at any other type of event. You wouldn't get, we want to come, but we can't afford to. Could you help? There would not be there wouldn't be a thing like that for anything else I can think of. They've raised nearly £400 of a £900 target. So it's a big chunk of money, and I thought it was a lovely act from some of the Star Trek fans.
Star Trek fans are the best. That's why we love you all.
We do indeed. Lily says we can hire her if we want to.
If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find her, maybe you can hire Lily Lethal.
Lily, if you'd like that as your voicemail ringtone for when people ring your cell phone, we can arrange that.
I'm thinking of advertising myself for doing voiceover work. I mean, how hard can it be?
I do some, mainly because obviously I've worked in radio before, so it's I've got some contacts in that industry. So
working in radio, being inexplicably cheerful all the time.
Are you looking to learn to drive? Try Keith's Driving School.
Come and buy your delicious plums at Tesco. £1 per pound.
Lol, plums.
You do the shake and vac, you put the freshness back.
We should get a multinational to sponsor us. Someone like Target or Walmart. Star Trek fans are very generous. Yeah, and I mean that's never a hint that we aren't looking for any type of sponsorship or anything. But it was just one of those things I saw today, and I was having a bit of a bad morning at work, having a bit of a down morning, and I scrolled through Facebook and I saw this, and I was like, it just sort of made me smile a bit. It's like, you know what, there are some nice things in the world still. Because they put on the thing that we wouldn't normally ask this, and we're not begging for money, but we really want to go, but we can't afford it. And it was almost one of those apologetic posts of, we don't want to be doing this. And the fact that people are still helping was lovely. It was a lovely gesture. Now, if Richard were here, he'd be telling us all about the fighting techniques.
Yeah, what's unusual here is that Worf does actually win a lot of these bouts, whereas in TNG, he usually got his ass kicked the entire time, didn't he?
Absolutely.
And the funny thing is, all the Klingons, certainly in the TNG era that he was in, were always having a go at Worf and mocking him for being in Starfleet and so forth, yet he would always beat them in a fight.
Mm.
He was the toughest Klingon we ever met, yet he still always got beaten by everyone else. I think the point was always to say, look, if Worf, who is as tough as they come, can get beaten, anyone could have beaten.
Yes. Sort of a measuring stick for toughness.
This thing was telling me earlier that my heart rate had gone up to about 124 beats per minute. I thought, well, I should be dead. Something's not right with this.
Oh golly! What make thing is it?
It's a Galaxy watch.
Oh, okay. I have a Huawei watch which has Star Trek on it.
Yeah, mine just has random.
Oh, is that the Galaxy watch I told you to buy?
No, it's the one that Richard had going spare, so I bought it off him.
Okay. Have you not installed Facer yet, so you can put Star Trek faces on it?
No, because you remember, Dan, that I'm a Luddite and I don't understand things like that. I mean, I had to give my phone to one of our staff earlier and say, I can't understand why WhatsApp isn't working. Can you fix it for me?
Right, okay. Now,
and what we did was we turned it off and on again.
Now, to 90% of the people that are watching this, that would sound very, very strange. I, however, do work for a cell phone company. I work for I'm a senior store manager for a cell phone company and also a regional.
I believe we call them mobile phones in this country.
We do, but we have a lot of American viewers, so I thought I'd say it for them. I'm also a senior trainer for a region as well. And we get a lot of people asking of a certain age, how do you text? Why does it make a noise? And to which you have to explain to them that that's somebody trying to ring, and that your great grandchild is trying to get in touch, and this is how you text the word yes. You have to be very patient. So I understand what your staff are going through.
Yeah, I've got a teenage receptionist, and I just said, look, I know you're going to understand this. Make it work.
Wow.
Just don't go into my gallery.
Oh, that sounds like a sexual harassment suite. Wait to happen. Right. Talking of, while this is playing, Chancellor Gowron. Okay. Have I told you about the manager for another mobile phone network, not the one I work for, that has has a letter and a number in it? So I can't say exactly who it is, but you can probably guess.
A letter and a number. Right, okay.
So you know who I'm on about?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the story.
Are you giving them the oxygen of publicity?
No. So a new manager has joined the store. He's left his old job of being a manager for Lidl and come over to be a manager for this network. And he's left a job that was 45 grand a year and gone for a job that's 36. So he's taking a bit of a pay cut. Anyway, he's working with a member of staff who's a vegan. And as we all know, vegans don't consume any animal products or byproducts or anything of that nature. The manager in question hasn't got a particular fondness for vegans and has gone and bought the team lunch from Greg's, which is a shop that sells pasties and things, and has come back and told the vegan member of staff that he's got him a special vegan pasty and a vegan sausage roll. So the member of staff has eaten it, nom, 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 nom. And the manager's turned around and gone, ha, 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 they were actually really meat ones and you enjoyed it. See, it's just all in your head, thinking he's being funny. Actually bought him a meat one and is doing the dance and all the rest of it. And the staff member has gone to HR and the member of management has been dismissed 2 weeks into his new job.
Not surprising.
Now the member of staff is seeking to sue the network for damages.
Interesting to quantify those damages.
Yes, you made me eat meat.
In
a completely unrelated thing, if you work in the Northwest and are looking for a job, I know where there's a management position going. Must enjoy working with vegans.
Hello, what's Bashir up to here?
The most intense game of Tetris. I'm not saying that this manager did a good thing. He didn't. It was a terrible thing. You should never really do things like that. But it just makes you wonder what goes through people's minds to actually do it,
Well, if someone has an earnestly held conviction, for example, let's take someone of the Jewish faith who doesn't eat bacon, and you deliberately cause them to ingest bacon in a way that it's hidden in something else, then you've seriously offended their religious freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
we have penalties for that sort of thing in this country, and rightly so.
So one of the ones we suffer from in work, or not suffer from, is I have quite a lot of customers who will come into my building and say, and we're one of these places where my customers are a little bit older, and it's very pedestrianised. And a couple of customers will say, "Do you mind if I bring a dog in?" Now, as a general rule, I would normally say yes, but at the moment we say no, and the reason being, I have a couple of gentlemen who work with me who are Muslim, and they're not allowed to have the saliva of a dog or the wet nose of a dog touch them because it invalidates their prayers. And they've said to me, look, this is what this is. And because of that, we very much made a point now saying, unless it's a guide dog, we won't allow dogs in. Because I don't want to put these people in the position where something wrong could happen for them. It's a reasonable adjustment. It's easy to make. And I don't want to upset the people I work with. I just couldn't understand the mentality of this man. Completely baffled me when I heard about it today.
It was a stupid thing to do. Well, if you're a manager and you've got a team under you and you do that to a member of your team, what sort of leadership is that?
God knows. It's what you get if your network begins with a letter and ends in a number, I suppose. Oh,
look, Garak has mentioned Zenketh. Now, we've heard of the Zenkethi a few times in DS9, I think, and I don't think we ever meet them.
Lily says, that's like inviting Trump into a Biden supporter's house.
Yes.
But Andy Robinson does play the... He does play claustrophobic very well.
Well, everything he plays very well. He's a superb actor. Oh, Richard has just messaged us to ask where we're at. Should we see if he wants to dial in with us?
Indeed.
What time index are we at, Dan?
We are on the second episode, and we are at time index 21 minutes 22 minutes exactly now.
I see Carl has seen that as well. Does that mean Carl might turn up?
No, I think Carl's still doing his catching up.
I just see a little icon. Someone has seen it. Squadron Leader Bartlett, you seem to think this is some sort of public school game where you will escape from detention and we will hunt you down and catch you as though we are at Eden. This is not. This is war. If you escape and we catch you, you will be shot.
How many times have you seen The Great Escape, James?
Many, many times. Here comes Donald Pleasance as the blind forger. Take me with you. I can see.
Come along, James.
Good luck. Oh, thank you, old boy.
Come along, Richard. Join on. This episode always feels like it should have been. I know it's 2 episodes, and I get that, but it feels like it should have been 2 very distinct episodes. The story of the changeling trying to block the star could have been an actual 45-minute episode,
yes.
in its own sort of thing. Is that the ISS in the background?
I think it might well be.
No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die. Paul said it would have worked particularly well as a series cliffhanger, two-parter episodes.
You've seen the What We Leave Behind documentary, Dan. In that, do they follow up on what goes on in the novels that the original DS9 station's been destroyed and replaced by a Federation-built one? And if so, do we see it?
I can neither confirm nor deny such a thing, as you have not seen the end of Deep Space Nine.
All right, then. Well, so we know that the replacement DS9 is designed by friend of the show, Doug Drexler, and it looks sort of broadly similar. But, just interested to know.
You should probably make time to watch the final 4 episodes, James. It's only 4 hours.
It's 4 hours? When am I going to find 4 free hours?
Go on the train somewhere and watch it while you're on a train.
So you're suggesting I find 4 free hours and then sit on a train to watch it rather than sit at home and watch it on a decent-sized screen? What sort of plan is this?
I thought next time you're going to something work-related, take the train rather than the car, and then use the time to watch the episodes. I think he means The Great Escape.
I think he might mean the 4 episodes of DS9 I've not got around to seeing.
Sod's Law says we'll land on the last one.
I've booked off some time next week. Maybe that's the time I get round to it.
Oh, I must talk to you and Richard about when you're coming up, because I need to book some time off myself, and I've got to sort of start making tracks on my holiday planner.
Right, you're going to have to hold the fort, Dan, because I'm going to have to go and get more thinking juice.
Okay, that's fine. Hello, dear viewer, and welcome to Let's Talk Trek. Tonight, it's a watch-along of some Deep Space Nine. I've forgotten the name of it. We're currently watching By Inferno's Light, and we are 28 minutes into it.
Admiral Gilhui. Let's throw down.
Dum 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 boop doop doop boop.
Weren't the Breen allies with the Dominion?
A bit later on, yeah.
Hmm.
I really wish he wasn't dead, so that you could be stuck in a wall.
Do we ever see what a breed looks like under the helmet?
No.
Oh yeah, he's under the mattress.
Oh dear.
It's for cleaning under your fingernails.
Hello, Richard.
Oh, Sir Richard's coming in. There he is.
What ho, gents?
Good
Good
evening.
Am I-
We're on second episode, and we are now 32 minutes and 33 minutes exactly in.
Release the runabouts.
Am I late? Right, what's the name of the second episode?
By Inferno's light.
The Runabout is a good-looking ship, isn't it?
The Camper Van of the Skies is one of my
I was
favourite.
never fond of them when they first appeared because it didn't seem to sort of fit the Starfleet aesthetic, but it's grown on me.
One of the things I loved the most about it was the fact that it was meant to be modular, so you could equip it for whichever mission you were going to go on. You can have a battle array fitted to it. You could have a science array fitted to it. You could put whatever you wanted. I mean, we never saw that, but that's what it was meant to be.
Cry havoc and release the runabouts of war.
Which season are we on?
5.
I shouldn't be looking for 4 then, should I?
Episode
5.
15.
15.
Last time on Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Oh, golly, Richard, I can hear that.
And whereabouts? We're about 35 minutes now.
We are at 34 minutes 33.
Oh!
I mean, it wasn't quite death by that disruptor that Keyless Farja had, you know. Hello, Megan.
What ho, Megan?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Dr. Nick.
It's very sporting of the Jem'Hadar to let him get back up.
I don't know. This particular Jem'Hadar seems to have almost a respect for Worf at this point.
Mm.
Well, as is proven in a moment.
I've often wondered when Gareth is in the closet here, the amount of prosthetics that they have. They make him look sweaty, so presumably someone must be spraying him with like a bonsai mist spray constantly to make him look like he's perspiring. But of course, we all know that Cardassians like the heat. We've seen them in simulations in hot places lots of times, and they're not sweater beat.
Because they're reptiles.
Well, yes.
Oh!
This is what happens if Bashir doesn't have a shave. He becomes very sinister.
Bashir obviously paying great attention to that Hippocratic oath of his, do no harm.
Again, the stubble, I think, is a way of getting out of this. Oh, that's classic Kirk Fu. Lovely double hammer fist.
Oh. It would have been funnier if they'd made Worf do all the challenges out of gladiators, like the pugil sticks.
Worf, you will go on my first whistle. You will go on my second whistle. You can tell that Vorta has never been in a fight, can't you?
That voice sounds familiar.
It's me. Garrick. He fights well for a tailor. Exciting news about the HD remaster of DS9, by the way, guys. I have been playing around with the software that they're using. There's a free trial at the moment called Topaz. And I tried a couple of VFX shots from DS9, and it took 2 days for my PC to do it, and I've got a high spec PC, but wow, it looked amazing. It really did. This HD remaster of DS9 is going to look good.
Well, that'll be well worth a watch. He just wants a tan.
Well, that was my original plan.
Yeah. For himself, though, not everyone else. Protomatter, a substance which every ethical scientist in the galaxy has denounced as dangerously unstable. It was in the Genesis device, wasn't it?
Yes.
Also, I believe it was in one of your cocktails, James.
Oh, I thought that was Romulan ice.
We told him it was.
Whee!
The whoop signatures must have been fake. So,
It's a fake.
you have to do it like Kenneth Williams from the Carry On film. So you breathe out as much as you can, and then say it's a fake. Okay, so try it.
It's a fake.
It's a fake.
It's a fake.
Here we go. Nuzial.
I'll be back.
Terminator's another good movie.
Joe, Terminator Salvation is so underrated. It's a really good film. So if you haven't watched it, dear viewer, it's well worth a watch.
Which one is Salvation? Is that the one with Amelia Clarke in?
No, Salvation is the one that's set in the future. It's really good. It's got what's his face from Crash the Titans reboot in it, and Christian Bale.
No. That must be
And
the one.
Michael Ironside's in it. It's worth watching just because Michael Ironside's in it.
You know, we should do a Let's Talk Trek general film and TV sci-fi phone-in, like a la Radio 5 Live, but with us instead.
Nominate something you want us to watch and talk all over.
As long as it's the Three Amigos.
James is like Mark Commode. That's essentially what we're going for.
I wish I had his hairline. What's that in your hair, Mark Commode? Is it ghee?
Let's have a look. Do I have a wheel of names for... Yes, we do.
I really like the cut. I know that a lot of people see him as a baddie, but it's if you've watched ER, he's a lot like Romano from ER. He's a bit of an arsehole, yes, granted, but you know he's got his principles and he sticks to them. Sounding a lot like Boris Johnson here.
Damar has a great story arc as well.
Damar, I'm a big fan of Casey Biggs, not just because we interviewed him. He's a great actor. Oddly enough, I was watching ER the other day. He pops up in ER. And I wondered, so Chase Masterson, she played a role in ER, and Casey Biggs popped up in ER. I wonder, can you tell me any other actors that may have popped up in ER and also Star Trek that I can't...
Nana Visitor?
I don't know if she has or not. I've not come across her yet myself.
Right. Well, that was a brilliant 2 episodes, and that's been a thoroughly enjoyable hour and a half. What do you think of it, James, having rewatched it for the first time in a while?
I very much enjoyed that. I mean, DS9, the first series is a little bit naff, but I think you could apply that to any other series. And it goes from strength to strength to strength, as far as I'm concerned.
Was it good enough that it's worth watching all the episodes?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think that there are 4 more I'd like to see.
Okay.
Oh, exciting news. I've completed and finished watching Lower Decks. I watched the remaining episodes that were available.
And your thoughts?
It wasn't as bad as having a break from it. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Okay, so the magic wheel is got. Let's have a look.
What's
Killing
the
Game, Star Trek 6, Sub Rosa, Threshold, First
Have
contact.
we got a fair balance? Is there anything from Voyager there?
Mine, yeah, a couple. Measure of Man, Nepenthe, The Wire, Trials and Tribulations, The Reckoning, Tapestry, Three Amigos,
Amigos, of course.
Wishes for Horses, Killing Game, and,
Wishes Were Horses. That's
and
a
Fluke
bad
Shit.
episode. Inner Light, that's a bad episode. Threshold, that's a bad. We got. What's the Voyager one with the full-on proper Animal Quest rubbish that Chico's had? What's where they have to go and find a lizard to free his spirit or some old nonsense?
Before we do that, let's have a look at this. Bit of news from this end. It's Megan's last day of placement tomorrow. Can't believe how quickly it's gone. Round of applause for Megan.
What happened?
Of course, Megan. Megan, does this mean the end of night shifts? Sincerely, for you, I hope it does. I myself have never done a night shift, but I'm married to a nurse, and I very much disliked her doing them.
Right. James and Richard, can you give me a very convincing game show spin that wheel, please?
Hang on. Let's spin that wheel.
Wheel, you will go on my first whistle. Spin, you will go on my second whistle.
Oh!
Results.
Whoa, hang on a minute. Wait. Is this the episode or the film?
Is there an episode? Oh yeah,
Yes,
there is.
we interviewed the lady from it. Remember?
Damn.
Did we?
Yeah, at Folkestone.
Carolyn Seymour.
Yeah, she was the, yeah, she's the one they beamed up to the ship and tried to explain to her what was going on.
Okay, there's a way to find this out. Let's have a look.
I rewatched the interview.
Right. She's the Romulan commander.
Yes, but she was also in the First Contact episode. She told you that. You interviewed her. You were there. To be fair, it was 3 years ago.
Oh, it was a long day.
Right.
It was a marvellous day.
God's sake.
Let's have a look.
That was when David Warner asked you how many lights you could see, and you went, that's brilliant.
Oh yeah, she played the actress, the character Marista Yale in First Contact.
She was supposed to come back for more episodes.
Here we go. If I'm going to put a spinner on, if the spinner lands on an even number, it's the movie. If the spinner lands on an odd number, it's the episode. Does that sound fair?
Movie, you will go on my first whistle. Episode, you will go on my second whistle.
Right. So movie is an even number. Let's go. Spin the wheel.
Episode.
Oh, it's the episode.
It's, to be fair, it's
Oh, hurrah!
a film. It's a film.
It's a movie. Excellent. That was completely fair and unbiased.
It is a good episode, though. It really is a great episode. It explains. It's one of those episodes where it shows how well Picard deals with the Prime Directive as opposed to, say, Janeway. But it's equally a good film. We get to see Worf decapitate a Borg.
The Borg have taken over deck 46. Everyone's sort of like, there isn't a deck 46.
26.
Yeah. Woof, this is awkward.
If you were any other man, I would strike you dead where you stand. So would you, though? You're a vegan.
But he does have a fighter pilot license.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Dorn's a qualified
Earlier,
fighter
before
pilot.
you came in.
Fighter pilot.
Yeah, he can fly combat jets. Honestly,
Right.
Google it. Michael Dorn, fighter pilot license.
I mean, James May from Top Gear's got a pilot's license, but I wouldn't trust him to fly
He
near
can fly a Cessna. Dawn can fly things like an F-15.
Right, okay.
Right, here we go. I've got the actual thing up, so let's have a look. Personal life. Michael Dorn is an accomplished pilot. He's flown with the Blue Angels as well as Thunderbirds. Dorn has owned several jet aircraft, including a Lockheed T-33 Shooting Star, which he jokingly refers to as a starship, a
Well,
North
so-
American F-86 Sabre, and currently owns a North American Saberline. Dawn is also qualified to fly, and and it says F numbers essentially. But yes, he took his money from Star Trek and put himself through fighter pilot school.
The thing is, the hours you have to put in for that are incredible, which is kind of handy. He's not been doing much acting, I guess.
Michael Dawn's private planes. Here we go. Let's have a look. So, open image in new tab. There we go. So this. Oh god, that's a bit small.
While Dan is doing that, Richard, we heard on behalf of our friend J.K. Woodward during the course of the show.
From his
that he's got a
publicist.
new
Oh, the
comic,
artist. How's he
series
doing?
coming out.
That's
Well,
Michael Dawn's
we-
private
we-
personal plane.
Get him to a convention fast, wouldn't it?
It's amazing what you can find out in the desert in America, isn't it?
Sorry, James, you were saying about JK. How is he? All right?
Well, his publicist says that he's doing well and that he will be in London in November for some reason.
So his publicist has been in touch with us.
Well, she's been enjoying the episodes with us.
Also known as his partner.
Oh, I see. Oh, right. Okay. Well, JK, if you are watching this on a replay, I hope you're still doing well, mate. We've missed you. I look forward to seeing you again.
And this is Michael Dawn's other plane that he actually owns, apparently. So let me just put this on the screen.
Ooh. Very smart.
Good to see he spent all of that DS9 money sensibly and didn't just blow it on something fast and reckless.
Like Britney Spears.
Are you implying she blew her money or she's fast and reckless?
The latter.
How very libelous.
Michael Dawn acquired his F-86 Sabre from the South African Air Force.
So we're going to have a round of people you didn't realise were pilots. We've had James May, John Denver. He was a fighter pilot. And a jet pilot as well. Yes, John Denver was. Yeah.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford can fly.
Does he play with flight fighters? I mean,
John Travolta.
Well,
He doesn't
Harrison Ford famously can't fly. He's very bad at landing.
John Travolta, he's got a jet license. Is this one of these things in America? American viewer, if you're watching, we know that a lot of things in America are easier to achieve than they are in the UK, such as university degrees and marriage licenses and things like that. Is this driving tests? Is this like that, where you can go to Las Vegas and get a jet pilot's license, or has Michael Dawn actually done like the hard work?
Are we talking in the same way that Iron Maiden have their own plane?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the thing. You can turn up to Las Vegas and a guy who basically looks like Elvis can marry you. Can this Elvis impersonator also give you a jet pilot's license?
Have you ever seen the Iron Maiden 747?
No.
No. Oh, okay. They actually have their own plane that they use for tours, which is called Ed Force One.
Right. Does it have a paint job of a skull wearing headphones on it?
It really does.
It's funny how I was able to guess that out of thin air.
All across the tail.
There we are.
Well, look at that. Ed Force One.
Nice.
Let's have a look. Alan says Harrison can fly, he just can't land.
Didn't he complete the parsec run in the Kessel run in under 12 parsecs?
Which is distance, not time.
Well, I think they tried to explain that in Solo by saying that that there is a shortcut, but you have to go through this whirling maelstrom or something. So if you complete it in a short distance, it's because you've gone through that.
Oh, okay.
Or someone
I
in the
like the
comments
film trailer. It's quite
in
good
the
for a
US,
Star Wars film.
you have to do the actual work in the US too. So it's not like getting married or becoming a priest or anything like that. You actually have to pass or driving a car. You have to actually pass the tests and stuff. That's reassuring.
Took my headphones away.
Well, Michael Dorn obviously is still with us, so he's obviously managed to fly these aircraft safely enough.
Although, given the price that fuel's gone up to, it's probably why he's quite anxious for a Worf series. Needs
He's
money.
been banging on about a Worf series for 20 years.
Fuel's not expensive in America. It's still cheaper than water.
Worf need money for airplanes.
I mean, Worf is the character who has had the most screen time, I think, of any Star Trek character, because obviously he's through all of TNG and most of DS9. Riker, of course, has the most cameos because he appears in pretty much everything apart from the original series.
Yes, he popped up in the final episode of Lower Decks this season.
Indeed.
And our friend Marina as well. Yeah.
Yes.
And obviously he was in Picard.
Yes. Has he appeared in Discovery yet? Probably won't now.
He's directed a couple of episodes.
Hmm.
But the character hasn't yet.
They'll have to wink him in some way, won't they? As a holodeck character or something.
Well, they're making another season of Discovery, I'm fairly sure. And that's in production at the moment.
Yeah, season 4.
I'm just thinking, if you're a band and you buy a 747, it's got to be the best tax write-off in the world.
Well, when my band bought a 747, we were a bit disappointed that it was just a small plastic replica and not an actual plane.
Oh, I thought yours was the one that was still permanently parked at the Top Gear test track.
In fairness, I generally am terrified of flying, so it worked out quite well.
They're all pretty much being retired, aren't they? 747s?
Yeah, lots of them are being at the moment.
Right, not just because of COVID, but I think they're sort of coming to the end of their usable life, and newer jets are more efficient. Smaller jets can do the same distance, use less fuel, whatever.
I was actually speaking to a friend whose partner works for Rolls-Royce. We won't mention names, but I think you probably know the same friend. Who was saying that one of the reasons that Rolls-Royce are having such financial issues at the moment is that when you buy an aircraft, you buy a maintenance contract for the engines from Rolls-Royce, and you essentially buy the aircraft, but you lease the engines. And the maintenance contracts, and the maintenance contract is payable per mile. So each mile that the plane flies, a little bit goes onto the bill. And because aviation has essentially just ground to a halt over the last year, Rolls-Royce has still been producing engines and stashing them away in storage, but none of the maintenance contracts have been paying out because all these planes are all just parked up in places. And because they're now retiring a lot of the 747s, a lot of these engines are being decommissioned and sent back to Rolls, and the maintenance contracts are obviously now falling to a stop. So aviation for Rolls is grinding to an absolute monetary halt, which is really quite worrying.
That was me because the rappers hadn't released anything.
No, sorry, Richard.
There we are.
Well,
what was a watch wrong has now become a school of economics.
let's talk about beverage curves.
On that note, it's time for us to say goodnight.
Oh, can't we talk about the interrelationship between inflation and interest rates?
God.
I'd rather talk about the fiscal policy, if I'm honest with you. At the moment,
Are you a Keynesian or a monetarist?
Maybe we can get Paul, who's Welsh, to give us his views on universal basic income.
the problem with Wales is it's full of socialists.
Wow. Way to exile an entire country.
When I say problem, I mean problem.
This is going to be one of those Let's Talk tracks I have to delete so we don't get banned by CBS, isn't it?
What he says in Braveheart, the problem with Scotland is that it's full of Scots. That was Richard Harris. God bless him.
Oh, the present Mrs. Dillon has made me go to Scotland in the past.
I've been invited twice, but I've managed to avoid it. When you went to Scotland, did you get bitten?
What, by a Scot?
Well, everything apparently, because both of the times I've been invited up there to shoot twice, and I was told both times, like, if you get bitten, don't come because you'll get bitten by everything. And I quit. Like the Scots.
I just have this image of Nicola Sturgeon chasing you around trying to bite you.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
Going independence the entire time.
I'm angry with the Tory government. Independence.
I was driving through this valley. I mean, sort of this sort of bleak, shingly valley on a long road that seemed to go on forever, and there was this enormous noise, and I think it was a harrier flew over us, and he was, I don't know, 30 feet above the ground. He really wasn't.
It was a Scottish midgie. This is the thing.
It might have been tornado, I suppose.
Yeah, you go north of the wall, you can get bitten by a Scottish midgie. The nasty bastard. Honestly,
Richard, please don't alienate Megan. She's
what's wrong? I didn't say there's anything wrong with Scotland. I just said I've so far been able to avoid it.
more importantly, Megan. Is it the top half or the bottom half that's Scottish?
Was it left or right?
Where's the tartan?
Oh, bless. Right, okay. We're going to help. Right. That's it for tonight's show. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, you can, of course, join us on Sunday for Let's Talk Trek, 9 p.m, when we'll talk about collectibles, alcohol, news, ranting, reading.
Blankety blank.
Blankety blank, stampity stamp. What in Sam Hill, and other amazing features like Build the Enterprise. We will also be getting Carl on, because hopefully Carl will be here for Sunday. If not, we'll be having a guest presenter, if I can get in touch with anybody. If you have a collectible you'd like us to value, please email it in and we'll get some pictures up. That's it for tonight. We'll see you again on Sunday. From myself, from James, and from Richard. Thank you for watching our 2 episodes of DS9, and we'll see you soon.
And don't forget your fares.
Don't forget
Good
your
night.
fares.
Good night.